Emily, you all right with me. I knew you was one of my favorites for a reason. Hey everyone, it's Sharna from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Handmaid's Tale Season 2, Episode 2, Unwomen. And so the episode begins with June at what seems to be an abandoned Boston newspaper building that she's in. And so basically she's kind of just trying to get to know where everything is, what's going on in there. And then she hears this noise and she freaks the hell out and she sees Nick and she's like, oh, okay, Nick, cool. Like, when are we leaving? Like, where are we going? Like, let's chop. We're wasting time. And Nick is like, hey, we can't leave. Like, girl, they looking for you. You know, you're pregnant. Like, they are not going to let this go easy. It's not like you're Martha who just ran away. You were pregnant. So, you know, he's like, we got to lay low. She was like, nah, fuck that. I ain't doing that. So she started going in on him. Like, give me your keys. He gives her the keys. Then he gives her his gun, and then she gets in the car, and then she just looks at him, and then it seems like kind of like outside of her rage, like logic kicks back in, like he's right, I can't just leave this easily. And so she gets out of the car, and then she fucked the shit out of him. She gave Nick her best. Okay, that was her best. She gave Nick her all. Every last bone in her body is what she gave to Nick, okay? And Nick looked like he was just drained, like there was no life left in him, okay? And so Jenna's just having a hard time, okay? Like, she just escaped. She just wants to get away. She wants to get her daughter. Like, hey, we gotta go get Hannah. Like, she's just trying to process everything. And then when she's like kind of, you know, snooping around, trying to see where she is, she sees that basically these people were slaughtered. Like, they were still at work. They were slaughtered. She sees all the gun marks in the cement. And so then she ends up paying tribute to those who like gave their lives. And she makes a cute little memorial for them, where the scene where you can tell they were all lined up and killed. And so, but the majority of this story has to deal with Emily. So we catch up with Emily, who was sent to the colonies after she ran over the people, and they kind of sewed her up down there, which was really disrespectful. And so we see that she's been working in the colonies. Like, she looked like she has aged a lot in the few weeks that she's been in the colonies working. Doesn't seem like safe conditions. Everyone seems like they're inhaling some stuff that they're not supposed to be inhaling. There's infection, there's disease. Everyone just looks mentally, physically just worn down, okay? And so we see that she kind of has become kind of like the doctor of the entire group. She's been treating everybody, you know, giving them antibiotic pills, bandaging them up, giving them tips, like just trying to make sure that everyone sticks together, everyone survives. And so we see that a new bus comes and drops off some new people. And shockingly enough, we see Handmaid, okay? Marissa Tomei, she comes, and then I'm like, hold up, ain't she in the wife's garments? So like, what is she doing here? What did she have to do to get sent to the colonies? And so basically she's not giving a nice greeting because don't nobody like the wives. And so then, you know, she ends up trying to befriend Emily, and, you know, they seem to be getting along. And in the midst of all of that, we kind of flash back and get a glimpse of what Emily's life was before. And so we know that she was a biology professor, and she taught at college. And we see that she has a friend named Dan who is also gay as well. And so he kind of tells her, like, hey, you need to lay low. Like, why do you have a picture of your wife and your child on your phone? Because you saw that she was talking to her student, trying to encourage her as a woman to know that every step of the way, you're always going to be questioned by another man as if you're not right or you're not smart enough. And so she was trying to give her some good words, and the girl looked down and she saw the picture of her family in the phone. And so he tells her, like, hey, you're not going to be teaching next semester. You know, you need to lay low. They're going to have you in the lab most of the time. And he's trying to show caution to her, like, hey, we're in a new world. You can't be out in the open and proud as you were in society previous to these attacks that have happened. And so even he talks about how he has to hide the pictures of his husband and basically go back into the closet. And so she was just like, no, fuck that. I'm teaching. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to crawl back into the closet. I'm going to be me. Okay. And so we see as we flash back, I don't know if someone found out, but we see her friend Dan, who is hanging in the middle of the campus quad, and we see the little discriminating term spray painted on the floor. I don't know if that was a warning to her, like tighten up, or hey, you gonna be next. I don't know, but it was enough to get her and her wife and her son to go to Canada. As you see everybody in the baby mama trying to go to Canada, rightfully so, because things are freaking crazy right now. And so you see that she has all of her paperwork, and he tells her like, hey, this is my wife. And then he's like, hey, you gotta go to this office, get this stamp real quick before you can go. And she's like, okay. So they all go together, and then they try to detain her. And then they ask the same question that they asked June in the previous episode. And they were like, is this your child? Was the embryos implanted in you, or did you did you have your son? And she was like, yes, I carried my son. And so I'm like, damn, like they getting them this way too. Like this was a well thought out plan on how they were going to get all of these handmaids. And so basically they tell her she can't go. It was an emotional goodbye that she has with her wife and her son. And her son is crying, her wife is crying, she's crying. It was just so much. It was just so sad. And so she lets her wife and her son go to Canada, and then she stays back basically to live the life that she's been living now. And so we go back into present day in the colonies, and we see that she is having a conversation with the wife who has been sent to the colony, and she kind of like says like, what do you do to end up here? And she tells her that she had an affair. She fell in love with somebody else. Her husband was too busy with the handmaid to even realize what was going on, but that's how she ends up in the colony. And then she was like, well, where's your husband now? And she's like, probably got promoted. Okay, he probably got promoted for snitching on me and bringing me to justice. And so she tells her like, hey, here's some antibiotics that can kind of help you with the infection. Just take so many every couple hours and you'll be fine. And she was like, thank you so much. And I'm really sitting here like, girl, I'm shocked that you helping her right now, but okay. And then we see that the lady later in the episode, she starts like throwing up and stuff. And I'm like, damn, is she pregnant by her lover? Like, but no, she can't have kids. So damn, Emily, you smart, girl, you smart. Emily poisoned this girl. She gave her pills and basically poisoned her little by little. She kept taking the pills over and over again, and then she realizes what happened, and she's like, why would you do this? And then she was like, girl, every month you held a woman down as she was raped right in front of you. Like, did you really think I was going to be your friend? You have to be out of your everlasting mind if you thought I was going to help you, okay? And she was like, don't worry, it'll be over in a couple of hours. And I was like, dang, that's cold, Emily. And she was like, you deserve to die alone. And I was like, damn. So I thought that was the end of it. But no, not for Emily. She decided, I'm sure she had help from everybody else who didn't like her. They decided to hang her up on a cross in her wife garments. And I was just like, damn, the lady's like, you're going to pay for this. Aren't they already paying? What else can you do to them? It's going to be worse than their life already. But man, it was crazy. Like, Emily done had a hard life. Like, this, just seeing their lives before and seeing how quickly things went from good to shit, it's just emotional to watch. It's just crazy that somebody can just take your rights from you, take your family from you, like everything that you ever believed in, everything that you stood for, and basically you are belittled to just being raped and used. And so I'm really interested to learn more of everyone's backstories on how their lives were before the government was basically seized and taken over to this new life of Gilead. But for me, like, this is I think it was a solid follow-up to the episode June. And so I'm interested to see what they have in store for us next week. But those are my thoughts for episode 2 on women. My name is Sharonda from Pay Your Weight. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and I will see you soon.